So, ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to do is I'm going to go over just a couple questions with you. It shouldn't take me any more than 10 minutes to go over these questions on the Edgenuity Review online, kids. That's this right here. So why don't you download it and open up Kami, print it, whatever you need to do. Asynchronous time. All you are doing is you are doing 2 Edgenuity quizzes, 10 questions each, multiple choice each. It's 0 and negative exponents, and then raising a power to a power. So if you scroll all the way down in your Edgenuity list of quizzes to do, it's just the last 2. Your homework is just to finish them. So please make sure that it's done tonight so you don't have anything to worry about or make up over the break. My goal is to give you 0 homework tomorrow. Like, you are not taking anything onto the break with you to do in math. But obviously, if you're not going to finish your 2 Edgenuity quizzes, then that's going to be looming over your heads, and it's going to be a big fat 0 in the grade book. So just get it done today, okay? So let's do this. There's only a couple of questions. Here we go. These are some questions that you might run into. And so let's go over them, okay? So the first one says, based on this pattern, what power of 10 would have a value of 1 over 100,000? So maybe take a look at like the pattern. 10 to the 1 is 10. 10 to the 0 is 1. 10 to the negative 1 is 1/10, then 1/100th, then 1/1000th. Does anyone think they know, like 10 to the what would give me 1 over 100,000? Andrew, what do you think?
Is it 10 to the negative 5th?
Sorry, Andrew. 10 to the negative 5th. I don't know. So maybe we should like continue this and see. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just cross that out so that doesn't really confuse me. But I'm looking for 1 over 100,000. So the next one would be adding an extra 0. So wouldn't that be, if this is 1,000, the next one would be 10,000. And then after 10,000, adding another 0 would be 100,000. So this is the one I want to get to. And look here, like your pattern is -1, -2, -3. So this is 10 to the negative 4. This is 10 to the negative 5. So you are right, 10 to the negative 5th, that would be my answer. So all you have to do when you see this problem on your quiz is kind of like extend the table just to try to see like where is the next one. If you add a 0, add a 0, add a 0. Okay, that's the first question you might run into. The second one says, what is the equation of the area of a square? So let me draw a square. I have a square and it has a side length of 2x to the third. All right, someone in person, in class, do you think you know, not the answer, but what's the equation? Like, how do I write it to get the answer? Andrew? Okay, so let me tell you what he said. He said 2x to the third squared. It has to be in parentheses. If it's not in parentheses, it just looks like it's 2x to the third and then square just x to the third. Well, you're squaring both of them, right? So remember how we said area is just length times width? Like that's how you find the area of any rectangle. But if this is 2x to the third, this is also 2x to the third because it's a square. So technically, aren't I doing 2x to the third times 2x to the third? So that's why I'm actually just squaring it. So if I'm squaring it, remember how I did this? I add 1 as an exponent, and everywhere that I don't see 1, take this outside 2 and I multiply it. So really, I have 2 to the 1 times 2 is 2. X to the 3 times 2 is 6. But I don't leave it like this because 2 to the 2 is a small enough answer, right? Isn't that just 4? So my final answer is really 4x to the 6th power. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay. What is the volume of a square with a side length of 2x to the third? And I'm asking for the equation. So someone online, do you think you know what is that equation going to look like?
2x to the third, but in parentheses, and then to the third power.
To the third power, because isn't volume length times width times height? And then so if I have a square or a cube, they're all the same length, right? All of the side lengths are the same. So I have 2x to the third, 2x to the third, 2x to the third. So I'm doing 2x to the third times 2x to the third times 2x to the third, which is really just 2x to the third in parentheses to the third power. Okay. Someone in person, do you think you know this answer? Christian, go for it. Sorry, what did you say? 8x to the 9. So how do we get this? Get 2 to the first, 1 as an exponent. Take the 3 and you distribute it. So I have 2 to the 1 times 3 is 3. X to 3 times 3 is 9. Well, I can't say 2 to the third. That's an easy enough number to say, oh, that's just 8. So it's 8x to the 9. Lance, do you have a question? Okay. This one's probably going to be the trickiest one of all. You kind of have to work backwards. Okay. So for this one, go for it, Lance. It says the volume. So the answer, the volume is 64x to the 15. So what's one of the lengths? Like, what is that? Or what is that? Or what is that? Because they're all the same. So maybe not what the answer is, but how do I get the answer? Haley? Yeah, so basically you're doing the cube root. So why does that make sense? Because basically we're saying something times something equals 64 to the 15, x to the 15, right? So isn't that saying what to the third power is 64x to the 15? So if I want to know what that is, aren't I technically just finding the cube root of 64x to the 15? Because I want to know how many, because it's 3 times, right? Because there's 3 of them. So I want to know 3 of them. What 3 things multiplied by itself is 64x to the 15. That's why the cube root solution option work makes sense. Okay, so here's the thing. I have like numbers and letters all combined. So if I were to type in my calculator, the cube root of 64x to the 15th power, I'll tell you right now, because there are variables in there, it's going to give you some weird answer. 400,000? No, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah. And the reason why is because I think your calculator thinks that the number x is 10 because it's, oh yeah, because it's 10 in Roman numerals. That's why. So like if you want to do like 2x, it should say 20 because it's 2 times 10 because they think x is 10. But anyways, that's beside the point. So to solve this, just do your numbers first because you can do your number in your calculator, right? What is the cube root of 64? 4. Okay, so that part equals 4. And then find the cube root of x to the 15. Yes, Andrew? How did you get 5? So you're just dividing, right? Yeah, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So, boom. Or you could say, okay, like you have 15 of them, right? And then you're going to have like x's all around. And then if you take out groups of 3, you have 5 groups of 3 to make 15 total. All right, so that's my final answer. Oh, wait, is it plus minus? Is it just plus? Does it even matter? Can it only be one of them? What do you think? Andrew?
Only one because it's a cube root.
Okay, so it's only one
It's odd.
because it's odd, because there's only the 3, right? So you can't have a negative times a negative times a negative. What if it was a square root? Then it would be plus or minus. Would it make sense to be plus or minus for this problem though? No, because you can't have a negative side length, right? Like if we're just doing a normal problem, sure, it's plus or minus. But if you're talking about like actual real life applications, you can't have negative side length. So even if this was even, it wouldn't be plus or minus because it's a word problem. Okay? Any questions? All right.